Hi, I'm Tony McMahon and this is Templar Knight TV, and what I'm going to talk to you about today is the Knights Templar and just how did they get so rich so quickly? Big question. I'm going to try and answer it for you today. Now, just before I do, you may have seen me on various history documentaries over the years. I will be appearing on a new show called Alien Corridors this autumn, this fall, if you're American, and also Truth Seekers on the History Channel. And I'm also on Tales of Oak Island, also appearing on the History Channel. Anyway, back to the Knights Templar. How did they get so rich so quick? Now, we all know that in the year 1307, the King of France, Philip the Fair, as he was called, Philip IV, crushed the Knights Templar, utterly destroyed them. He arrested the entire leadership. They were languishing in dungeons for years afterwards, until eventually in 1314, the last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake near Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Now, one of the theories about why King Philip went after the Templars with such determination is that he wanted their money. He thought that the Templars were sitting on vast amounts of wealth that he would be able to use to fund his wars against England. Wars, as you know, are a costly business. And Philip had already shaken down the monasteries, gone after Jewish moneylenders, and now it was the turn of the Templars. But where did this huge wealth that the Templars were supposed to have, where did it come from? And I think sometimes there's a bit of confusion about this, so let me try and clear it up. One area of activity was basically running safe deposits for rich people. The Templars had a network of commanderies around Europe, and these were estates that were like agribusinesses. They were basically generating wealth off the land and through very small scale industry to fund the Templar activities in the Holy Land. And these estates, these commanderies, were of course reasonably well armed, thick walls and all that, so they kind of operated as well like bank branches. And if people wanted to put their belongings, their wealth somewhere secure, they lodged it with the Templars. The Templars also developed a kind of bank check system. They may have actually borrowed this idea from the merchants at certain markets, particularly the markets at Troyes in France, where many of the early Templars came from. But the way that this bank check system worked was that if you were a rich person going on crusade to the Holy Land or going on pilgrimage to Jerusalem, you didn't want to have to drag all your wealth behind you. So, well, you know, you'd be robbed, you'd be murdered, whatever. So you basically put it in a Templar commandery, a certain amount of your wealth in a Templar commandery, let's say in Paris or London or in Portugal or Spain or wherever. And then when you got to the Holy Land, you had a kind of check with a secret code on it, and you could withdraw some of that money at the other end. Now, to us, that's pretty basic banking, but in the Middle Ages, that was completely and utterly revolutionary. Now, we know that the Templars also got involved in money lending, and that would have been alongside the Italian bankers, the Florentine bankers, who were engaged in the same activity, Jewish money lenders as well, of course. Jews were not allowed to do other professions, but they were allowed to do finance. Strictly speaking, it was forbidden for Christians to earn interest, but somehow the Templars got round that issue with a kind of argument that they were enhancing the capital that they were lending. They also got involved in a much murkier sideline, which was collecting loans due to other people, like those Italian bankers, for example. So let's say you're an Italian banker, you've lent some money to an abbot who wants to carry out improvements to his abbey, but he's being a little bit slow with the repayments. What do? Well, you go to the Templars and say, could you collect that loan for me, presumably in return for a cut of the money owed? And the Templars would go round, you know, big heavies in chainmail and swords and collect the money. Now, that cannot have made them very popular, but nevertheless they did it. They also got involved in collecting taxes for the crown, as did the Knights Hospitaller. And again, that's something that cannot have made them popular with a lot of people. Now, we don't often think of the Knights Templar as bookkeepers, involved in accounting as well as being warriors, but they were, and they did amass a significant amount of money. They were so good at it, in fact, that they even got involved in managing the state finances at times in France and in England. For whatever reason, the king would hand over the running of the state finances to the Templars. Now, there's a lot more to be said about how the Templars got so rich so quick, as well as did they own great sacred relics like the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, the Shroud of Jesus, and so on. I address all of this in my forthcoming book, The Knights Templar, History and Mystery, published by Pen and Sword in November 2024. Now, at the time of watching, it may not be available, but you can already pre-order, or you may already be able just to order the book and go ahead and buy it in hardback for now. There's a link down below, so take a look at that. Order your copy. It's available at all reputable online stores, including, of course, Amazon. So go and get your copy of the Knights Templar, History and Mystery, and tell me what you think about it. I really want to hear your feedback. And I have 2 more books on the Templars coming out in the months ahead. So until we meet again, thanks for watching, and non nobis domine.